Today we're moving on to a new lesson titled Direct Variation. And you actually learned this lesson in 7th grade, but it wasn't called direct variation. It was called proportional. Direct variation is a fancy way of saying it's proportional. So it's really nothing new today. Direct variation is a fancy way of saying proportional. Now, so far, and I want y'all to come up here at the top, we've learned the equation y equals mx plus b, where the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. Today, we're going to learn an equation that is just like this, but the y-intercept will be 0. Because to be proportional, you have to start at 0. Meaning, like, if I go buy gasoline, it's going to have a constant rate, but if I don't buy any gasoline, I'm going to pay $0. You'll always have a 0 point. Okay, now, how would this become non-proportional? It'd be like if I hired you to babysit and I said, I'm going to pay you $10 per hour, but I'm going to give you $20 in gas money just to show up. That right there turns it non-proportional because you have worked 0 hours and I'm still going to give you that $20 in gas money. Does that make sense? So to be proportional, to show direct variation, you cannot have a plus b because it's going to be 0. Okay? We call this equation y equals kx. I don't know why they took the m out because it's still the slope. But they like to call it the k because it stands for the constant of variation. This number is still the slope, the rate, and now we're going to add a term for it called constant of variation. So all of these words are for this k. So the constant of variation is the number in front of x. You learned this in 7th grade to find k. Does anybody remember the formula? It was on your star chart last year. No. To find k equals y over x. So in 7th grade, that's what you guys focused on. To find the constant of variation, you simply take y and divide it by x. It's very, very simple. And if y'all look at the slope formula, what's on top? The y is y2 minus y1, and what's on bottom? x2 minus x1. This is the exact same formula. But you're not having to find the difference in y's because it's proportional. It's going to pass through 0. So you're not having to do that subtraction part. You're just dividing y divided by x. Okay, so it's just the same formula, but we took out that extra piece. So the other thing I want y'all to write is when you have a direct variation equation, the graph will pass through 0, 0. So, and this is what we were talking about yesterday. If you have that equation like y equals 1/3 x, where is your starting point? It's at 0. Okay, so just real quick, if I ask you to tell whether an equation represents direct variation, what am I really asking? What is direct variation? I'm asking, is it proportional? And to be proportional, what will an equation look like? What will it be missing from this? It'll be missing the b. So it will be y equals kx with no plus or minus b. So real quick, I'm going to show y'all some equations, and y'all are going to tell me, are they showing direct variation or not? All right. Y'all don't have to write these down, just yes or no. Y equals 2x. Direct variation or no? Yes. Y equals negative x. Yes. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. No. Y equals 1/3 x plus 0. Yes. Yes, because the plus b is 0. Okay? So do y'all get what is proportional and what is not? Okay. So now we're going to look at these examples and we're going to say, yes, it's showing direct variation, or no, it's not. And if it is, we're going to tell what the constant of variation is. And the constant of variation is just the slope. Yes? All right, so what do I need to do to these equations so I know if they're showing direct variation? Rearrange them. All right, so I have, let me zoom in. Negative 3y equals negative 2x. Do I have to write the plus 0 or can I just leave it alone? How do I get rid of the negative 3? Divide by negative 3. And I have y equals 2/3 x. Does that show direct variation?
Yes.
And if so, what is the constant of variation? 2/3. The constant of variation is the slope. All right, let's do this one. How would I rearrange this equation?
Y equals 2x.
Y equals negative 2x. So what would my answer be here?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. And what's the constant of variation? No, don't say the x.
No, I stopped myself though.
Negative 2. All right, y'all try the next one on your own.
What was that next one?
Try the next one on your own. What is it, yes or no?
No.
Why is this one not showing direct variation? It has a plus 4. So the answer would be no. I don't answer the next part because there is no constant of variation. There is a slope, but they're wanting a constant of variation, and a constant of variation is specific for proportional problems. Okay? All right, rearrange it. Negative 5y equals negative 4x. How am I going to solve? Divide by negative 5. So I have y equals 4/5 x. So my answer would be yes. And what is the constant of variation? 4/5. Okay, try the last two on your own. Did you get no on both of them?
Yes.
Okay, any questions about what a direct variation equation looks like? Okay, moving on. Now, for some reason, sometimes they call a direct variation equation y equals ax in algebra. I showed it to you as y equals kx because that's what you learned in 7th grade. Is it the exact same thing? Yes. And I didn't want to confuse you and change that equation up. But if you see y equals ax, it's the same thing as y equals kx. Does everybody understand that? I don't know why in 7th grade they want to say kx and in Algebra 1 they want to say ax.
So we use AX.
Whatever you want to use, it does not matter. As long as it's in that form, you're good. It's a number times x, okay? All right, y equals kx or ax is a linear equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where the slope is a or k, and the b is always 0. Yes? They want you to graph y equals 2/3 x. So what do I need? A slope. What's my slope? 2/3. What's my y-intercept? 0. So where do I start? 0. Since the slope is positive, I'm going to go up and to the right. So up 2, right 3. Up 2, right 3. The more dots you put, the more accurate your graph is. So could I add more dots? Where would I go? Down 2, left 3. Down 2, left 3. Because I put so many dots, my graph is more accurate. Your calculator's case has a straight edge if you need it. Yeah, on the side of the case. There's also rulers up here. Hey, let's go. No, the other way. Yes. All right, the next one. What is the slope for this one? Negative 3 over 1. What is the y-intercept?
0.
So we're going to start at 0. And am I going to go up 3 or down 3? Down and right. So down 3, right 1. Down 3, right 1. If I wanted to add more dots, I would go back to 0, and which way would I go?
Up 3, left 3.
Up 3, left 1. Okay, try the next one on your own. Make sure you started at 0, 0, and that you went up 2, right 1. All right, the next question has us doing 2 things. This time they gave us the graph, and they want us to write the equation, and then they want us to solve with the equation. So let's look at it. It says write the direct variation equation. Well, I already know what's the y-intercept going to be, because they told me it's direct variation. So I need a slope and a y-intercept. The y-intercept is 0. How do I find the slope? Rise over run. So here's a dot. Here's a dot. It's supposed to be right here. It's kind of off though, right? The rise is 2. The run is 3. Is it a positive 2 over 3 or negative? positive because I went up and right. This line is going up from left to right. So positive 2 over 3. So to write my equation, it's going to be y equals 2/3 x. Do I write the plus 0?
If you want, right?
If you want, but it's never really going to be written, so I would say no. Now what does it want us to do? Find the value of y when x is 10. So what do? Plug it in. So I'm going to do y equals 2/3 times 10, which is just 20/3, yes? If I multiply straight across, so y equals 20/3. Why did I not put that as a decimal? Because it's going to be repeated. I didn't want to. Could I have put it as a decimal?
Yes.
Yes.
Which would be
6 point something. All right, try this next one on your own. Quickly, let's go. Write the equation and solve. Has everybody gotten their slope? Look at your slope. Did you put a negative sign in front of it? If you didn't, you missed the whole problem. The rise is 2, the run is 1, but since I went up and left, that is a negative slope of 2.
oh yeah.
How can you make it like to where you're not going to forget to put the negative? What I would do is the first thing when I'm looking at slope is look and see if it's going down from left to right. Go put a negative sign. Okay? My equation, y equals negative 2x. Now what? Plug in 10 for x. Negative 2 times 10 is what? So y is negative 20 when x is 10. Okay, on the next part it says, given that y varies directly with x, write a direct variation equation. All right, so what did I tell you guys? If they give you a y and an x, and you need a constant, how do you find it? Divide. What do you divide? Y over x. So my y over x is 9 divided by 3, which is? So what would my equation be? Y equals 3x. Some of us are not paying attention. Could I use this equation to solve for another number? Yes. The next one, y divided by x is 7 over 14. Why did I not do 14 over 7? Because I'm not doing x divided by y, I'm doing y divided by x. I need to simplify that, yes? Which is 1/2. So y equals 1/2 x. Okay, the next one, y divided by x is negative 4 divided by negative 18. What two negatives make? Can I simplify this? Yes. It simplifies to 2/9 because I'm going to divide the top and bottom by 2. So I have y equals 2/9 x. What is the constant of variation? 2/9. All right, and the last one is your word problem. It says the table shows the cost of downloading songs at an internet music site. Explain why C varies directly with S. So they're already telling us this is going to be what?
Direct variation.
It's going to be direct variation. It's going to be proportional. But they want us to tell why it is. Can anybody give me an idea of how I could explain this? All right, are y'all ready for the explanation?
Nope.
Write this down. If it's proportional, comma, when you divide y over x, you will get a constant. Meaning for the whole table, every time you divide y over x, you will get a constant. All right, so let's look at it. What is this is the x and this is the y. What is 297 divided by 3? $0.99. If this is proportional and shows direct variation, every time I divide, I have to get what? 99 cents. So everybody go do the next one. 495 divided by 5. 99 cents. 693 divided by 7. So why is this table showing direct variation? How would you say it now that you know that? What results? You're right. Your answer's correct, but give me more. Okay, give me more. What did we just write, guys? Because the constant of variation is 99 cents for the whole table. Because when I divide y over x, the constant of variation is 99 cents for the entire table. If one of those was not 99 cents, it's not showing direct variation. Write a direct variation equation that relates this information. Y equals, somebody? 0.99 x. But what if we use their variables instead of y and x? C equals 0.99 s. Are these the exact same thing? Yes, but this is using the variables that they wanted us to. Last question. How much would it cost to download 10 songs? Tell me what I would do. I would plug in 10 for X or for S. So 0.99 times 10, which is $9.90. All right, I'm going to pass. So for the top part, it says, tell whether the equation represents direct variation. If so, you need to identify the constant of variation. So you're going to put yes or no. If your answer is yes, you have to put the constant. If your answer is no, do you put a constant? No.
Don't put X, guys. Remember that.
Don't put X. All right. The next part. The next part. Graph the direct variation equation. What will all of these points include?
0.
So every single one of these, I'm going to have a dot at 0, 0, because these equations all show direct variation. So all I need is a rise and a run. Okay, on the bottom part, the graph of the direct variation equation is shown. Write the equation. How many answers? 2. Write the equation. So here I need an equation. And then I need to find the value of y when x equals 10. So then I'm going to need a y equals. And don't put the equation there. The equation is y equals 5x plus 0, something. You don't have to put plus 0. Then you're going to solve for y when x is 10. Make sense? All right, turn the page. Same thing back here. You're going to have two answers. You're going to have an equation, y equals, and then you're going to have y equals a number. Yes? Plug in when x equals 10. All right, go to the bottom. Tell whether the table shows direct variation. So these are all going to be yes or if yes, write the direct variation equation. Are y'all good? So what are you going to do to solve these? Y divided by x and see if there's a constant. So I would do 9 divided by 0.5, 54 divided by 3. All of them have to have the same answer. If they do, the answer is yes. And then you're going to write an equation. If they don't, the answer is, and you move on. Does everybody understand? Go to the back. Given that y varies directly with x, use the specified values to write an equation. Does it say to do anything else? So one answer. I'm going to do y divided by x. Can I leave it like that, or do I have to simplify it? What does this simplify to? 1 over 8. So y equals 1/8 x. There's my answer. They want the equation. Everybody good? And there's one word problem at the bottom. All right, get busy.